Hey everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Biggie Sweats, and today I'm going to be bringing you the Season 4 Destruction Warlock Guide. I hope you enjoyed the last video. It seemed to do well. This time I'm going to include some other stuff that you wanted in the video, like rotations and whatnot. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check us out over on Twitch, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 3 PM BST. It'd be a pleasure to see you there. We provide a lot of WoW content, viewer raids, and dungeon keys. So make sure you check us out there. Let's get straight into the guide. Boom. So first off, as always, we're going to start with legendaries and your covenant. Your covenant of choice is going to be Night Fae for both types of content, raiding and mythic dungeons. And your main legendary for mythic dungeons is going to be Wolfred's Sigil of Superior Summoning. Every soul shard you spend reduces the cooldown of your summon Infernal by 1.5 seconds. This is needed because as you go through the dungeon, you're going to be constantly spending that with Rains of Fire and AoE and spamming your Chaos Ball and stuff. That this is just going to reduce the cooldown of your major CD, which is dropping your Infernal straight onto packs and mobs to cause that big AoE damage and natural damage. From there, we're going to look at the Night Fae legendary, which is obviously on the belt. And this is just your Covenant legendary. Each target affected by a soul rot increases your haste and critical strike by 5% for 8 seconds. So this is just, you press your ability and then you just go ham on the targets in front of you. These are the two major legendaries that you're going to be rocking for dungeons. So next I'm going to tell you the raid ones, and the raid ones are actually a little bit different. So the raid one you're going to be taking is Madness of Azjakir. If that's how you say it, I don't even know. But this is Chaos Bot increases the damage of Chaos Bot by 25% and reduces the cast time of Chaos Bot by 20% for 4 seconds. So this is sort of a new legendary after they changed and reworked the 4 set. Before you was running this for both raiding and dungeons. So this is a new one you run. You still can run the old one. There still is a massive portion of people on Subcreation that still run this regular legendary. But the primary use of it, the meta per se, is this one for raiding and single target damage. So next up, we're going to be talking about soulbinds and conduits. And yes, I've shrunk this camera down so you can see everything on the screen. So these conduits and soulbinds are going to be used for mythic dungeons and raiding. They both increase your survivability, your damage, and your mobility. So we're going to start off by saying that Dreamweaver is going to be your go-to soulbind in both types of content. There is a build that runs Naya, but I don't know much about it, so we're going to stick with the Dreamweaver one. Starting with Pod Tender, down into Resolute Barrier, increasing your survivability because it reduces the cooldown on one of your major defensives. Then into Soul Eater, which increases the damage and radius of your main Covenant CD, so it's needed in every regard. Then into Soothing Voice. Then into Ashen Remains, which every target affected by Immolate has then increased the Chaos Bolt and Incinerate damage, your main abilities. Then into another defensive, which is Condensed Animosphere. Then Somnambulist. That is such a difficult word to say. Field of Blossoms, then into Infernal Brand, which makes your Infernal your main CD, make the target hits take 4.4% increased damage from its immolation, stacking up 15 times, which can be huge. And then into Walking Dreams, Demonic Momentum, which is mobility, increase your movement speed after you use your portal. Sorry, not portal, your demonic circle. So the teleport is basically a portal. And then into the final one, which is Dream Delver. These are going to be your conduits for mythic dungeons and raiding, and they are perfect for that because they increase across the board everything you need. Next up, we have everyone's favorite part of the video, and that is talents. This is probably the most important part. First off, we're going to start by saying the Mythic Plus dungeon talents. There is a very small, minute change for the raiding ones, but I'll go over that right after we've done the Mythic dungeon ones. So we're going to start with Eradication. Chaos Ball increases the damage you deal to the target by 10% for 7 seconds. A no-brainer. It's just flat-out damage increase whenever you use Chaos Bolt. Reverse Entropy. Your spells have a 15% chance to grant haste. Again, another no-brainer. You get some speed. You get some spell casting speed. And that is perfect. Then we're going to go into sort of your defensive row, mobility row, utility. And we're going to go with Dark Pact. The sheer defense this gives you is insane. Like, compared to the other two, you're just gaining some speed for some health and some passive regeneration. But Dark Pact, you sacrifice 20% of your current health to shield you for 250%, which is insane. It can shield so much damage and big hits, which are needed in high keys and higher raiding content. Then we're going to move into Inferno. Rain of Fire damage is increased by 20% and there's a 20% chance to generate a Soul Shard Fragment. Now, in Mythic Dungeons, you're pretty much just spamming Rain of Inferno to generate your soul shards and keep your damage high. That's sort of what your AoE rotation looks like. Then we're going to go into Mortal Coil. And then this is great because it stuns and heals you for a fat chunk. The other two is just a reduced cooldown on Shadow Fury, which you get as a passive anyway, just to use. And then Howl of Terror, let loose a howl around you, making people flee. So it's just a fear. This one is the best choice in my opinion, because even if you can't stun the target, the health that you can get back off it is awesome. Then we're going to go into Reign of Chaos. While your initial Infernal is active, every soul shard you spend has a 15% chance to summon an additional Infernal that lasts 8 seconds. Why would you not want another version of your main CD? Especially when you're spamming the hell out of Rain of Fire. It's just perfect. Then we're going to go into Soul Conduit. Every soul shard you spend has a 15% chance to be funded. So the main purpose of this build is to just get as many soul shards as you can, which can then be spent on either Chaos Bolt or Rain of Fire. In Mythic Dungeons, Rain of Fire is your go-to use of ability, and then that then can summon an Infernal, and then it's tied to the tier set. So it's just a perfect running build, and it's why Destruction Warlock still dominates so heavily in Mythic Dungeons even after the tier set rework. So there is one small change for raiding. So the major raiding talent that you're going to change is you're going to swap Inferno, which is for Mythic Dungeons, out for Cataclysm. Now this is just every 30 seconds you whack Cataclysm down and it deals 4,000 damage to all the enemies around, and afflicting them with Immolate. So this is just an initial burst of damage, so you're not relying on Reign of Inferno in single target situations. So this can just flat out damage in single target, and it does AoE, whereas this one you're just relying on sort of spamming Rain of Fire, which is more of a Mythic Dungeon environment talent. So go with this for your single target encounters, just for the flat out damage increase. Next up, we're going to be talking about stat prio, consumables, enchants. Boom. So your main stat prio is haste, mastery, crit, and burst. So haste, mastery, crit, and burst in that order. I would either sim your character to find the best upgrades you can, or check out some of the higher level Warlock players on Radio.io or even Warcraft logs to see sort of the stats they're running. My character is a little bit behind, so I need to definitely swap things around as my priority with my stats is so out of whack. But right now I'm still gearing this character coming into Season 4. I've had a lot of time to practice and play it, and I'm getting to know the class, and I really do enjoy it. So as I maneuver my way around getting better gear and whatnot, I will get these stats into their perfect place. And then straight into the enchants. I still need to enchant some of this gear. Ron Samdi, get out my face. Why are you there? So your rings, you're going to be going with the Tenet of Haste enchant. Everything I'm going to show on the screen. So Tenet of Haste enchant as your rings. Then you want to go Eternal stats on your chest. Then you want to go Soul Vitality or Fortified Speed on your cloak. Although this is your choice, you play with how you feel. There is a few cloak enchants that you can choose from. Then you want to go Celestial Guidance on your weapon, and then wrists with Eternal Intellect, and then Soul Treads on your feet. Your main gem is going to be the Quick Jewel Cluster, obviously increasing haste. Your best potions are going to be the Spectral Flask of Power. This is used for every DPS class there is. What is my game doing? And then you're going to be using Potion of Phantom Fire for single target. And just for cleave AoE and general use, you want to be using Potion of Spectral Intellect. And of course, always have your Cosmic Healing Potions available, as my guild master would always say. Then your food is going to be the Tenebrous Crown Roast Aspic. That is going to increase your haste by 30, or if there's a feast or soup on the floor, make sure you're eating that. The best oil for your character is going to be the Shadow Core Oil. Make sure you use that before every fight, or obviously on cooldown, as you will get your buff at the top telling you when to reuse it. So they are your major enchants. Go and do them on your major gear. Don't put them on like greens and blues and whatnot if you've just hit max level, but I would go and put them on once you start getting some decent gear. Okay, so the next part is the rotation. Now, you guys asked for this in a lot of the comments on the last video when we did the Outlaw Rogue one, and I do apologize for not including it this time. And for going forward, we're going to be including at least a minimal rotation in each video we post on these beginner guides and how to get yourself started with your class. So the premise of the Warlock is to maintain Immolate at all times, cast Chaos Bolt if you're about to cap on Soul Shards, cast Configurate to avoid capping out on the stacks and generate Soul Shards if need be, and cast Incinerate as the filler to generate your main Soul Shards, which are then used to cast Chaos Bolt or Rain of Fire, given the situation. Obviously, if there's 2 targets or more, you're going to be wanting to use Havoc, which obviously splits your single target spells between your main target and the off target that it's been cast on. So I'm going to show you a little bit of single target stuff right here. So, Bon Sandy, bro, leave me alone, man. So, I'm going to go in, I'm going to start with an Incinerate to start off. You precast this on the pull, then straight into Cataclysm, and then I'm going to drop an Infernal, then into my Soul Rock, which is my main Covenant ability, Configurate, into Chaos Bolt, Configurate, Chaos Bolt again, Incinerate, and then Chaos Bolt as stuff's generating. Obviously, you got your passive talents and stuff on. Incinerate, and then into Immolate to keep the stack from dropping off, Configurate, then Chaos Bolt again, Incinerate is a filler, Configurate to generate stack again, then Chaos Bolt, I'm going to use my Trinket, free Chaos Bolt proc, use that on proc, then straight into another Chaos Bolt, Cataclysm, and then your rotation sort of stays the same based on that. Next up, I'm going to show you a little bit of the AoE one. My trick is just to spam Rain of Fire for the AoE one. But let's get straight into that. Rain of Fire on 3 or more targets will always do more damage than Chaos Bolt. If you're running Rain of Chaos and your rotation during Summon Infernal will be to spend as many Soul Shards as you can to proc that Summon Infernal. So that means just spam then Rain of Fire, as I've been saying throughout the video. So I'm going to show you just like a quick rotation of stuff that's going to go on with these 3 targets. I'm going to start with an Incident. We've already got a few Soul Shards from I think a minute ago, so we're going to do that straight into Rain of Fire. We're going to cast Soul Rock. We're going to get Immolate on these targets, because then you're passively generating stuff. Straight into Incinerate, just a filler. Then boom, we've got another Rain of Fire. Boom, another Rain of Fire. Summon Infernal. Use our Trinkets. Incinerate. Boom. Look, you can see how many Rain of Fires we're putting down. We're just getting as many down as we can, making sure we keep Immolate up on all these targets. It's a bit of tracking, but with a few add-ons you can get them. Look, we're just literally spamming Rain of Fire. Boom. Look how many we got going down. We're doing 12k a second right now, which is not huge, but obviously in a Mythic dungeon environment this will be a lot higher. And obviously if you're on 2 targets, then I recommend obviously building up the Soul Shards, casting Havoc on one, swapping to the other target, and just getting your Chaos Bolts off. As you can see here, they're going to split. So they're going to split targets like that, and that's how you do sort of your your cleave damage. That is sort of your main AoE rotation. I do hope that has helped and cleared a few things up. Obviously, this is my first time ever explaining a rotation. I will only get better, I hope, as these videos go along. If you have any questions, of course, put them in the comments below, and we will go over that, and I'll try my best to help out with anything. And we had a section where we spoke about the new dinar currency on what gear that you want to sort of be targeting. So your main one is a Tumbra. That is a dagger from Regalion, actually, in Sepulture. So a little after this video is released, you'll be able to go and try and get that from the Fated Raids. Then you want Shadow of Torment, which is from the Remnant of Nazul, Cabalist Hymnal, Mantle of the Demon Star, Robes of the Demon Star, and the Forbidden Truth. These are your main 6 pieces of gear that you want to be targeting with your Dinar Crossing Fate quest. I would sort of start with the weapons, get the trinkets, get them out of the way. That's probably the best way to do it. And that is sort of it for the whole guide, and it's been an absolute pleasure getting to share my experience with Warlock with you, and I hope this sort of beginner guide has helped in any way whatsoever, even if it's just to get your character started. So next up, we're gonna have either another rogue spec or another warlock spec, or maybe just another meta spec that we can go over, as I want to work my way down all these classes so I can help out anyone, even if you don't play the meta. So maybe we could do Survival Hunter next as we work our way through these top tier specs all the way down to the ones that are rated a bit lower. That doesn't mean they're not viable, but they are rated lower overall on the tier scale. So guys, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for making it this far through the video. Please like and subscribe. Come check out the Twitch channel. We're live Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 3 p.m. BST. It's been an absolute pleasure. Peace.